Metal G19. We're here at Borknagar at Gelfe Metal Festival 2017. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we're good. Really good. Good concert.
You're recently today. How would you describe the sound compared to, let's say, previous concerts?
No,
Even the crowd.
Well, the crowd is good. I mean, you always get the different, fractions of the audience. Some are really into headbanging and other things. Some are just standing and listening to the music and trying to take it in. But it's a mixed festival crowd. So yeah, it was good for us.
You played quite a bit of mixtape today, actually. Would you say that some of the old songs felt better or worse compared to, say, like more new and old songs?
We always try to mix new and old songs. So.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we try to make the show represent the musical history of the band in a way. And of course, in the end of the day, we play the songs we enjoy playing ourselves, of course. And yeah, I think, it depends on from show to show, day to day. I mean, sometimes that and this song is my favorite, but this time, I enjoyed being on stage, had a good time, and the sound on the stage today was incredible good, actually. Yep. So that was we had a good time on stage. Definitely.
And there's always some songs that we have to play, that
the audience expect
us to play, so there's always a few songs, towards the end of the set that we have to play because our audience would be really pissed if we didn't play like Colossus, for instance.
Yeah, that's classic. You've been around since 1995, and you're still active after 22 years.
Yeah.
What's the key to sort of keep the band going for that long?
I mean, there is no key. There is, life. I mean, you have to adapt to, I guess. I mean, it's. I guess it's. In my perspective, it's like I've always been engaged, interested in creating, making, listening music, all kind of aspects of music. Always been a big part of my life since I was a small kid. So it's what can I say? Just go ahead basically. But of course, there is a lot of ups and downs in the music scene. Sometimes everything is cool and nice, and sometimes things isn't really. Whatever shit happens and stuff like that. So in the end of the day, I think I always try to protect my very personal relationship to the music. So when things is like difficult or whatever, I just cling on to the music itself, kind of thing, the creative process of making music. So for me, it's kind of a very kind of different perspectives on it. But for me personally, it's about it's my passion in life to make music, as simple as that. I've done that since I was a teenager, and I'm probably going to do it till my end of days, my days. So it's and then it's it's trying to adapt to the scene, try to take care of the passion for the music and stuff like that. There is no key really. I just try to make the best out of it from day to day, from month to month, from year to year, basically.
Well, it's always a mixture of different things. You always need a creative drive to be able to push that forward. But also, I mean, it's the camaraderie of the guys in the band as well. I mean, with friends, we've been doing this for so many years together. So you've got the creative drive, you've got the camaraderie, and also when you're established as a band as we are now, the structure of things is easier. You don't have to struggle as much. I mean, in the early days, you had to struggle with different things, with getting the gigs and playing live, with the finances, with the albums and everything. I mean, when those things are sorted, it's easier. We got an extra interview with Nick from the
exactly. It's always nice. You have 11 albums as of today, actually.
Is it 11?
What?
I think
11 albums? Yeah, maybe.
No, the last album it depends on how you define it. I mean, we did a best of album back in the days. So if you define that as an album, it's 11. But in my terms, it's 10 albums, and that was kind of the idea with the album with the Tries. We had kind of that was kind of celebrating in a way 20 years of existence of the band, and also the 10th album. So we had kind of the stars was a little bit aligned and stuff like that. So yeah, that's why we, for example, invited Garm to do some vocals and stuff.
Yep.
So yeah.
As per your biography, the elements which make up the foundation of the universe, earth and fire and water, evolution, nature, texture, how do you take these elements into consideration as far as writing and composing? So earth, fire, and water.
That was some lyrical ideas I had back in the days. I've always been, pondering about nature. I always, since I was a small kid, I've grown up in, countryside and stuff like that. So nature has always been a huge part of my life, my upbringing, basically. So for me, expressing myself within the musical context has been very natural to use this, whatever you call it, nature philosophy, or I've always kind of used the nature as a scenery for my lyrics in a way, and that's what I've done and what people are doing basically, and from album to album have different perspective on things. Some songs have more kind of a meaning than others, for example. So it's and also for me, lyrical content of each song is very in the moment. If people ask me what I was thinking when I wrote like this and that song back in the days, I was like, I don't really remember, because that was a chain of thought I had back then, really.
It's like that.
But I also do in my opinion, the cool thing that we always try to sometime use some references back to old material. For example, Winter Tries is a phrase from one of the songs we played today, which is an old song, The Dawn of the End. Kind of things. We try to connect, make the musical history of the band as a package. And again, as doing a live show, I think it's about trying to present the whole band, not just the latest songs or the mid songs or the first songs, but trying to give the audience our musical rights through our musical history. Yeah.
I also think that the lyrical themes that we've always had are some of the things that set us aside from other bands from the same basic genres, at least when the band started out. Because Borknagar never had those lyrics connected to religiosity or those kinds of things. I mean, we've always been a more philosophical band about nature and our own existence. So I think it's nice to see that even today we have that core when it comes to themes that we take up in our songs. Even though the lyrics may be different, but the basic themes sort of stretches back to the beginning of the band.
Your latest album, Winter Tries, was released last year and composes everything you'll have to put on tape over the past 2 decades, from their not brutal assault to their daring compositions. What do you take on its progress as of today? How do you view upon the sort of the process of the previous albums? Like looking back at the sort of things, like if you were to change anything.
Well, it was a bit like you said, earlier, when it comes to making that album sort of a milestone in the Borknagar discography, because 20 years of music, 10 albums, it had to contain sort of bits and pieces from the whole Borknagar history. I mean, both lyrically and musically. And we made an effort to make it sound like that.
Yeah, and that's. I got a lot of interviews and questions about, been around for 20 years and celebration, and a lot of bands do this jubileum albums and stuff like that. That's not really my cup of tea. Instead, I think that it's better to make an album, a full new album, but to kind of underline the musical history of the band in a way. To allow ourselves to be inspired by ourselves in a way. And I will always work like that. I mean, as I said before, I've always connected new and old songs. I mean, we have a song called Universal. We also have an album called Universal. You have a lot of those things. And also a visual side of things. If you look at the cover on Winter Tries, there is also some elements from previous albums covered. So it's about, I always strive, I hate authorities. I always strive to be as a person, but also as a musician and a band to be independent. In musical terms, in lyrical terms, and that's why we don't phrase the Bible, or we don't phrase, we try to. I've always tried in a way to make our own, my own, whatever you want to call it, musical bubble, musical universe in a way. And if you have succeeded, I don't know, but that has at least been my somewhat plan from the beginning. I mean, the band name doesn't really mean anything, and that was a clear vision from my end when I started up things, that I don't want to have a band name which means something in specific, because at some point you will be nailed to the wall and said, hey, you are not playing the music you should play anymore. Mentally speaking, it's important for me to know that tomorrow or next year or next month we can do a jazz album. Nobody can nail us to the wall and say that, hey, you're not allowed to do that. Obviously, we're not going to do a jazz album.
Well, you should never say never.
Oh, okay. Keep it quiet, Lars. Don't talk about
Next one's going to be a techno album.
Yeah, so for me it's always been a bit musical thing, as always try to avoid taggings. I mean, people will sometimes ask me, how do you want to describe the music? And I usually just respond to the journalist, you tell me. I mean, you're supposed to do that kind of work. But my point is that I don't want my music to, in a way, not a big point, but it's kind of illustrating my point, that you shouldn't really be able to put any words in the music. You can't really call or epic, progressive, black metal. It won't cover it. It won't make sense, and that's something, always try to avoid those.
I think you guys have just labeled this as like extreme metal. I think it's rare that people say that. I should say like black metal, symphonic.
No, we've been called so many things, black metal, progressive metal,
Viking
metal. It's, I don't know. We've got elements of different kinds of genres, and we've never been a very genre specific band, right? I mean, we started off, we come from that environment, right? But we never really stuck to that one formula when it came to that. I mean, it's not that easy to just pinpoint us as Viking metal or progressive metal or black metal. We have elements of all those things, I guess.
Yeah, just sort of like blending and taking the best piece of everything.
Yeah, and I mean, we're comfortable with that. I mean, we don't have to be labelled. It's okay. I mean, you guys can label us if you want, and we don't do it ourselves.
I thought I find it really annoying myself as working in the music industry. It's like, it's impossible with all the labels of bands. It's like, it's like this, but it's just metal.
In a way.
Yeah, but also, this is philosophical thoughts, but I mean, music to me should be human, and you cannot really categorize humans, if you get my point. I mean, it's a stupid thing. So for me, I always, in a way, try to escape all those kind of divisions and tagging, whatever you want to call it or name it. So it's but again, back to my basic idea when I kind of started out, and I think we have been able, kind of circling around that idea that the independence of the band, mentally in a way, lyrically, but also musically. There is nobody that can really label us.
Yeah, it's pretty much just like
People try, but it won't do the job, kind of thing.
How would you say that the musical history has survived these days? Do you find it amusing that with the internet and everything, fans are still buying records these days? I mean, a lot of people are talking about that it's so hard these days to sell a record. That you almost have to push the fans and say that, buy our music.
Well, it's a different environment now. I mean, it's been a paradigm shift since we started out, because when Borknagar started, there were no MP3s.
I mean, I didn't even have a computer back then. I mean, I had paper and pen and do my facts and stuff like. It's a completely different world. That's about adapting to the reality of things and making the best out of it. Really. And I think people don't really buy that much CDs and LPs anymore. But still, as far as I know, the statistics I've seen, there has never been so much people listening to our music these days. And whatever, we can talk about money and stuff. I don't really do this because of money, but in the end of the day, I mean, to me, that's the most satisfying factor. That the music we are doing is reaching out to people, and a lot of people can listen to it, and it make a difference for people. I mean, I get from time to time letters from people that has been at troubled times, try to take suicide, whatever. I have a lot of letters from your fans. Our music have meant a lot to them, and it's that's the best. Kind of reaction. This really personal. You have made a difference through the music in a way. I mean, we just recently did a South American tour, and it's the power of music is completely different.
And that's another thing that's good about the new environment, where you get the internet aspect of things, is the reach of the music is bigger now than it used to be, because it's easy for people to access it.
It's no longer limited.
We saw that when we went to South America and Central America. We've never been there before. We have such a huge audience over there, and I think one of the reasons why it's like that is because you have technology for the music to reach out in that way. It's easier to get access of the things that you have an interest in. We see that when we play live in Europe as well. When we meet our audiences around Europe, that people connect to the music in a different way, and we have a bigger audience now than we had back in the day when the fans bought the albums and they didn't listen to it on Spotify, because there was no Spotify. Right?
Yeah, and also I think music also have an extremely unifying force. I mean, you have wars, you have starvation, you have political issues going on all over the world, dividing people. But I think music is one of those things in the world that unify people, whatever people believes in talk, what kind of language in talk, whatever happens really. And to me that's really a cool thing. It's kind of a universal language.
Yeah,
and it's powerful in a way.
And how would you say, out of all the albums you released so far, which one would you say, if you had to pick one album that you're like exceptionally pleased with, that everything was pretty much perfect at the time?
It's always the latest one. The latest one. And when we've done another album and you ask us again, it's the latest one. Always.
Yeah, probably is, yeah. I mean, that's the nature of doing music.
Yeah.
We always strive to be better. So asking, it's
It's kind of like, okay, you've got these kids, which one's your favorite? They're all my favorite.
Yeah.
Depends on the mood. Sometimes, Arcade Core is an album that I really love still. I mean, that's an album that I can listen to as a fan kind of thing. I can listen to it in my car. I just love the atmosphere of the band, the album. I love the atmosphere, production. It's kind of cool. But every album represents a period of our lives. So of course I have feelings, thoughts, a lot of things that pops up when listening to all the albums. So it's impossible to really answer.
You guys been touring quite heavily since last album. What did you be your favorite tour so far?
Yeah, by far South America. We recently did a whole run in South America, 3 weeks or something like that. Was amazing tour.
Such a good time. I mean, the audience was really fucking amazing.
Passionate people. I mean,
very much.
It was surreal sometimes. Really, we had a
saw
good
that
time, no problems.
Yeah.
We saw the world. We also had some free days, off days. We could, go and see the pyramids and go to, all.
It was so good. I mean, since we arrived in Brazil until we ended the tour in Mexico, just the whole run. Never had such a good time on a tour in my life.
And do you prefer festival shows to club shows?
Well, they're really different. It's really cool to play big stage and get exposed to a lot of people. But, the atmosphere in a smaller club. It's more intense in a way. So I mean, you've got good things about both kinds of musical settings or live settings. It's all fun to play. It's just different things are good for different kinds of shows.
And regarding this, the digital era that has arrived, how much do you think it has really affected the physical parts of the merchandise in terms of selling records and producing items new to sort of brand that?
Well, you sell less albums, you tour more, so you sell more merch. So more T-shirts, less albums.
Yeah, but the cool thing is though that there is some LPs these days is really going up. 5, 6, 7 years ago, labels didn't really do LPs unless there was a really huge release. But nowadays, I mean, actually we did a tour, European tour back in last year or something. And we were run out from LPs. I mean, the label didn't have any more. You had to print new ones
And also
because it was sold out.
when you see the segments from the albums too, it's more LPs than CDs. So, I mean, vinyl's taken back, you know.
What do you feel about that? You know, the vinyls are coming back.
I love that. I love vinyl as a physical form. You know, it's a different feeling with an LP. You know, than a CD.
It feels more compacted.
Yeah, it's just a different feeling. And also, I mean, one of the things that has happened when we comes to the way that people consume music is when you got the Spotify and the iTunes and everything, you consume single songs. You know, you don't consume albums as a whole. And one of the things that you sort of bring back with the return of the LP is the idea of listening to an album as a whole. You know, because you don't get up and you listen to one song from one LP and then you change the LP and then you put on another one and you listen to one song from that. You listen to the whole LP, you know, side A and then you turn and then side B, you know, and that has different quality to it than just listening to sort of scattered songs from different albums on digital formats. So I really love the fact that you're getting back to the album format and that people consume music in a different way when they listen to an LP than when they listen to it on Spotify.
Because like the LPs are like, a lot of bands are saying, we talked about today, they're really pleased that LPs sort of coming back. It's like nostalgia for them. Because they were a part when the LP was the only thing that came out.
It's not only nostalgia, you know, it has to do with the way that people consume music. So it's really good for us as musicians because people relate to the music in a different way when they consume it on LP rather than on digital formats.
How do you balance the touring life and the family life?
Excuse me?
How do you balance the life between, you know, touring and being at home, family life?
Sometimes it's a nightmare, a logistical nightmare. No, it's not. I mean, we all the guys in the bands nowadays have bigger kids, though. It's not. We don't really have small kids anymore in the band, so it's difficult, of course, sometimes, but it's not.
Well, there are always logistical issues because I mean, if we are to go on a tour for like 3 weeks, it takes a lot of planning, you know, because we have other jobs as well. I mean, we don't do only music, so you have to balance the kids and your day-to-day job and the live playing, and you also need, I mean, economically speaking, you have to make sure that you make the same amount of money when you're out that you would do when you were home doing your own work. So, but I mean, we make it work. We've been doing this for quite some time, so we've got a system that works.
And some of your favorite bands this year, like to tour with? You've done recently. You tour with a lot of bands.
Yeah, Alter, which backstage is over there. Great band to tour with.
Great.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah.
And we also, which other bands have we toured with?
I mean, we had a really good time. That was before your time, though. But we did a tour in which I remember.
Oh yeah,
the US tour with Emperor back in the days.
Those were great guys.
That was great tour. I mean, it was rough. We had a van without air condition and was like a heat wave going on. It was like a really brutal tour in many ways. But still, that I keep that in my mind as one of the really cool tour. Because for me, touring is not just about doing live shows and doing music. It's also about seeing the world.
Sure. And how has the overall experience been so far? You know, in terms of like, because you haven't really been on too many breaks sort of in the band. You know, you've been sort of quite stable and like both touring and writing. How does that sort of like come over the years? Like, has it been easier to sort of like sit down and say like, now we're gonna write for a new album, or is it more like it has to just happen like one day like, okay, I'm gonna try to start by writing a new record?
It's pretty organic, isn't it? I mean, we make music. Øystein makes most of the music, but I feel that, you know, the music is being made when the inspiration is there. And, I mean, it goes like this, you know. So when you're at a peak, you have to write, and then you can plan the tours, and you get inspiration from touring, from meeting people. It's back and forth.
To me, it's all you know. It's again about, you know, having this dynamic balance in life, in my personal life, but also in the music. or whatever I do, it's like I kind of, when I'm kind of fed up doing live things, not really fed up, but okay, we have done like, quite some live show stuff. I kind of just feel a natural wave of, okay, let's start to do something new. I mean, starting a new musical adventure in a way. And we will of course also have expectation towards that. How the album gonna be and how the result will be, and maybe also we get some touring going and all that stuff. So it's I think it's all about being dynamic really, and being true to what you kind of want to do musically, and we don't really compromise on labels and schedules and hey, you have to be on tour in 3 months and stuff. That doesn't really work with us. We have to follow our own kind of gut feeling and inspiration, and
have to follow the Borknagar rhythm.
Yeah, basically. Sometimes it's fast pacing, sometimes slow pacing. Depends.
And how was the overall response today, like for the crowd?
Yeah, it was pretty good, I think. I mean, it's really kind of tough job doing the opener show at 3 o'clock on the festival, and has been a huge show the day before, and people are hangover and tired and stuff like that. But as I said, we had a good show, we had a good time. The audience seemed really happy and stuff. So
we always get a good drive from the core fans. I mean, we always get that group of fans that sort of drag the rest of the audience with them. So we had a good time.
We spoke a bit earlier briefly about this whole thing, 20 years of things doing things. But you guys are not planning on doing anything crazy like, I mean, Emperor is doing some sort of like one-off selected festival show for their like Autumn to the Welcome to Dusk, and even for the previous in the Nightside Eclipse they did some crazy shit there. But you guys are not planning on doing any crazy stuff, like exclusive festival touring only? Like to celebrate the session album?
No, I get no. I mean, I'm really kind of.
That's a no. That's his way of saying it's
the West Coast. West Coast and way of. Yeah, I'm in general I'm not really a big party boy. I mean, I think the thing is about
party boy.
But my point is I kind of celebrate life every day in a way, more or less. These kind of big things, jubileum albums, jubileum festival, concert, whatever. I don't know. It's not my way of doing it, but
who knows?
I think we're good at playing stuff the way we do now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to balance things out, and I think the way that we tour now with both festivals and our tours to have a mixture between old and new, we like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't want to stick to just one album. I think.
Well, to round off, favorite album so far on Gelfe Metal?
This year?
Yeah.
For me, that's easy. That's Savage Sinusoid, Igor.
To me, I basically just listened a couple of albums this year. I'm working with so much music myself, so it's like I don't really listen that much. But I must say that probably my favorite so far. I does not agree, but the new Ulvor album I think is really good.
It's good. It's
I
just
love it.
not as good as Igor.
And food, let's go change a bit.
I love that album.
Food-wise on festival and tour, what is your best tip for new bands to start out that needs to learn for touring and such? Like the 3 best advice that you could give to a new young upcoming band that wants to get out on the road and tour.
Focus on playing, not on drinking. That's a good tip.
Yeah, and also like I did just recently, pack a lot of snacks and drinks and stuff in my suitcase when going back to the hotel. It's always nice.
Guys are getting old.
And do you have any last messages to your fans and followers watching this?
Yes and no. I mean,
You have to say thanks a lot.
Thanks a
to
lot,
everyone
of
who's been supporting us throughout the years, and also the fans that are new fans, younger fans.
And people come, when the parents come, they bring their kids along and stuff like that.
Cool.
There are a lot of photo sessions in South America. People come with their kids and lifting them up and stuff like that. So it seems like music is going beyond generations.
It is.
Well, guys, thank you for taking time to talk with us.
Thanks a lot.
Pleasure.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, man.